tension in Benidorm's town hall due to never-ending issues with Benidorm taxis. What is actually happening right now in peak summer season with the famous Benidorm's Island Bar, which is illegal? But is it actually open right now? All the upcoming giant, humongous events that will be happening in Benidorm beginning of September, just in a couple of weeks' time, the weather forecast, what's happening with the heat, and will it actually shift to rain and cold weather? All this and more in today's Benidorm News Update. Stay tuned up until the end. Let's begin. First of all, let's start with things to do in Benidorm and the upcoming events for the end of August and beginning of September. As you all know, this was the peak moment of summer season. August is the busiest and the most expensive month to come on holidays. However, once it's all slightly over, the events are back to our region. First of all, we do have the cinema, which will be this weekend, the open air cinema in Benidorm by the Malpas beach in the old town with English subtitles. And it's just a great way of bringing some popcorn with you, some drinks, just sitting down on the beach, hearing the waves with all the skyline right in front of you and watching some lovely family-oriented movie. Apart from that, obviously the crafts market in the old town by the castle viewpoint is still available. All the excursions, theme parks, plenty of things are available for you. The two main celebrations that will be happening right now, first of them is this weekend, actually the 23rd, which is this Saturday. We will be celebrating a very nice thing in Terra Natura theme park. And this is a celebration to celebrate the birthday. I think it's 53rd birthday or number 56. More than 50 years old is the elephant, one of the elephants that lives there, the favorite of all the people. And every single year they celebrate this elephant's birthday with a Holi festival. It's like an Indian style tradition where there's a lot of music, there's a lot of people are coming with to perform with specific outfits, traditional outfits. And there's a color festival, which is when you can bring like a white t-shirt or any other type of t-shirt, and there's like powder of colors that they throw into people. You have to be careful and wear glasses or something because sometimes it goes into the eyes and it's not really a pleasant thing. But overall, it's like a festivity of color to celebrate this elephant's birthday. So it's going to be this Saturday, actually. It's a really, really fun event. And many people do go there on purpose, simply to check it out. You get a regular, typical ticket, but at the same time, apart from a theme park, you're able to enjoy an incredible celebration out there. Suitable for families with kids, obviously, by the way. Plus, we'll be having another celebration that is not as suitable for small children, honestly, because this is the Benidorm Pride. This happens every single year, and this year is 15th anniversary already. 15 years it's been happening here in Benidorm, and each time it's growing more and more. And this year, to commemorate the anniversary, there's going to be even more celebrations, even more parties, more bars, and like pubs and clubs will be actually involved. And this time, there's going to be a giant concert in the La Guera Park, right next to the town hall and the Bristol Hotel. First of all, obviously, we'll start from the 1st to 7th of September. This is like a whole week of celebrations. And first 3 days, there's going to be some celebrations in local bars, pubs, and clubs. The other days, there's going to be themed parties like a white party, pink party, foam pool party at the Marina Resort. They know how to do pool parties, trust me. And it's going to be really, really busy. The main celebration of the Benidorm Pride that will be happening here, and we as usual will be there to show it to you guys, will be the parade. The giant parade with a lot of trucks and cars and people walking with their nicest outfits, colorful outfits, a lot of DJ music, really, really loud parade, I gotta tell you. So this parade will be happening as usual on the weekend, starting from 4:30 in the evening, and it will be go typically Rincon de Loich, Levante Beach, Mediterranean Avenue, and the La Guera Park by the town hall. This is what's going to be happening here as for now. Obviously, all the rest of museums, exhibitions, expositions, All of this is also available for you guys. But these two events are the main ones that will be happening right now. There's also sports events on the Poniente Beach. There's preparations already for the chess championship. Usually and typically it's done in the Hotel Bali, and many, many more things waiting for you once the peak summer season is over. Plenty of things to do here in Benidorm town still. Let's continue with two main news. The first one is about Benidorm Town Hall having quite a lot of issues with the taxis in Benidorm. As you all know, there's been quite a lot of comments online on the social media. There's been people in general talking about it on the streets. People are not happy. Locals, both locals, tourists, and the actual taxi drivers, the companies are not happy about it. And it is something that's been happening for a while. Benidorm is a city that changes and shifts completely from outside of peak summer season to actually the peak summer season. People started to notice longest queues on the taxi stops. We actually seen it once when we filmed you the Rincon de Loich. In the evening, there were at least like 10 people waiting for a taxi. That was insane. And a lot of the times there's queue of 10, 20 families when there's not a single taxi on the taxi stop. And you cannot call to ask to come to the taxi stop because they won't do so. They will always ask you to go outside to any other direction, because if they go to the taxi stop, you'll just pick up the first taxi that arrives. You won't be waiting for the car that comes specifically for you. So usually a very unpleasant situation, and there's a really, really big lack of taxi service in Benidorm town. Why this is happening and why things are not done to make it better? First of all, because the old taxi system in Benidorm is really, really old now, and it's actually, it doesn't make any sense to keep it because it's not what Benidorm is by now already. At least not anymore. Previously, taxi licenses, because you have to have a license to operate a taxi, right? So the number of taxi licenses was actually designed by the number of residents in Benidorm. But this amount is not the same any longer. It grew so much. And also right now we have tourists all year long. So the amount of actual people who are in Benidorm has duplicated itself. It doubled itself. So we definitely need more and more service about it. And I'm not sure why this is so difficult to understand. Obviously there's a law, but if this law is old, if this law is no longer valid for the area, why not to change it? Especially if it's like a municipal thing, it's not the law for all Spain, it's a local thing. Why not to change it and adapt it so that the taxi service would be more efficient, there would be more taxis, there would be no queues of people on the taxi stop, and there will be plenty of service for everyone. Obviously, I know that some of them might be afraid that what's going to be happening in winter, what if there is not enough work for everyone, then it's not good. But getting into some kind of a central point between these two, having a lot of taxis and have a shortage, would be beneficial for everyone. Let us know if any of those last times that you've been here to Benidorm town, or maybe you're here even now, did you experience issues with the taxis? Was it easy to get a taxi to move around Benidorm town? We'll read you in the comment section down below. Hopefully this situation will be solved very, very soon. And the sooner the town hall will see that it's actually over, the type of tourism and the model of winter, summer season, it's not here any longer. It's not valid any longer. There's way more people living here. There's way more people spending winters here. We do need more taxis here in the area. How many? That's already for them to decide. But the truth is that more taxis are definitely needed. And now let's go to the last news, and this is about the famous by now Benidorm's Island Bar. Mostly because on Benidorm's Island there's literally nothing at all except from birds, some trails for you to pass, and the boat with the submarine vision that brings you to the island and then goes back to Benidorm. Literally, you are on a desert island when you come there, at least up until the moment when the boat comes back to pick you up. However, there is only one business that's been working here for decades and decades since the tourism started its journey in Benidorm, which was around the 1950s, 1960s. Since then, someone decided that they do have a right to put on the bar on the Benidorm's island. Not sure how they did it, but it was genius. And since then, they were just loading all the money that they were able to, because there's not a single thing else to do there on this island. And if you wait for a boat, children want some snacks, you want some drinks, something to just enjoy the views and sit down actually while you wait. They made millions out of it. And the main thing is that even though this company that owns this and some boats as well in the port of Benidorm, some excursions, while they do say they asked for permissions, that is true, but long while ago it wasn't the same as it is right now, and they never gotten the official confirmation that they do have licenses and permits to actually operate there. Since 2019, which was 6 years ago, they've received a letter saying that the court decided it is illegal to be there. They do not have any permits, so they cannot operate there. However, these owners didn't care about the court order and they continued to work. They were sending all the documents to appeal, saying that they did ask for licenses, showing all the documents that they prepared for it, and they were operating meanwhile. They were still open. And just a few months ago, one will let you know about it here in the news update back again. Just a few months ago, they've received an official letter from the Supreme Court already in Spain, which is obviously a superior type of justice. They've received a letter saying that no, this is still illegal, it's inadmissive, and you have to close down. You're not able to operate on Benidorm's island any longer. And do you think it stopped them? We were actually curious to see what was the case, but it's been confirmed that this bar has been operating as nothing ever happened. They do not care. Court said they are not able to do so. Supreme Court dictated they are not able to operate there. They do not care about it at all. They will continue to do so because they feel like they own the Benidorm Island, which is not the case. I don't know why, but this bar is continuing to be open. Obviously, it is not, we don't know if it's bad for the environment because we don't know where they throw all the residue that they have. We don't know how they clean it, if some of these wastes are being thrown inside of the sea. We do not know anything about it, and no one knows except from them or maybe the town hall probably. But the truth is that if you're not able to operate, if you don't have a license, you shouldn't be there, right? So far, they do not seem to care. So another summer that the Benidorm's Island Bar is still operating and quite a lot of people are using it. We actually used it when we didn't know it was illegal, when we went to Benidorm's Island, and plenty of people are doing it the same because if it is there and the boats are bringing you, it must be all right, right? Not a lot of people know it is actually an illegal place and it is set to shut down for months and months from now, even since 2019. However, tell us, what do you think? Is this bar a valid thing if it should stay? If it should stay on Benidorm's island because it is something to do at least, it's the only thing that is available out there. Or if on contrary you think that if a Supreme Court determined it should be closed down, it should not be operating on Benidorm's island. Quite sure there's going to be a split in opinions about this place. And I'm quite certain that almost all of you who visited Benidorm's island had at least a drink or an ice cream or something in this bar. We'll read you in the comment section. And now let's talk about the weather forecast. What is happening? Because the Spanish National Meteorology Association did mention already that the heat is over, the heat waves are over. However, they are alerting us about a new thing, which is Dana. Dana are like similar to tropical storms. This is when the sea is still very hot, but the temperatures in the clouds like front coming that it's cold. So when they condense together, there are some storms, there is intense rain. Overall, not a good weather, honestly. And these are quite common when there's floods in the area. So we will see how it goes. But they did alert us that some parts of Spain are in alert due to Dana and some storms coming towards us. Valencian community is also in alert. However, our province of Alicante, which is where Benidorm is located, as well as other cities and the capital of Alicante, we are not in alert as per se. I know that Mallorca, some northern parts, interior parts in the mountains, as usual and typical, do have a yellow or orange alert due to rain, but us, not yet, and hopefully will not be having one. And we might only have some rain today in the evening if nothing changes. We'll see. You'll see it in today's evening video. There might be some rain. At least that's what the alert system says. However, the wind can change, the mountains can block it, so you never know if it will actually be raining in Benidorm up until the evening will come. And all this obviously decreases temperatures too. No 43 degrees real feel whatsoever, which is great and we really appreciate it. The usual temperature will be around 30 degrees, 30, 31 in Benidorm, which is typical and normal. And the real feel is around 33, 34. That's the maximum, which is still great. It's way better than it was before, not gonna lie. And for this Thursday, though, we will have some more temperature, slightly more of a heat, around 35, real feel 37 maybe. That will be the maximum. Still really, really hot, but not as hot as it was previously, so it's a good shift. The water is very nice. It's still 28 degrees, and it will be like this up until first days of September. That's when it will start cooling down slowly but surely. However, still the whole month of September, and for some brave ones, even October, are good for swimming in the Mediterranean Sea. Thank you for accompanying us in today's latest Benidorm news update. We wish you a great day, and we'll see you here on the channel this evening with the brand new video. Goodbye.